Hello everyone, Pineapple Apple here with the latest of the Blue Box Show, Doctor Who Series 15, Episode 7, Wishworld. Last week was a bit of a disappointment, but holy shit, the Rani! Yes, the Rani is back, and so far I'm not disappointed, but that doesn't mean that this week's episode was perfect. And remembering Empire of Death...
But she pointed.
She did.
I am a little worried about next week, but hey, we'll worry about that when we get there. Empire of Death is the first Russell finale that I didn't like, but The Legend of Ruby Sunday was still pretty good, so I'm hoping the art of the part 1 isn't lost here. So let's jump into Wishworld. So the episode starts with a nice cold open in Bavaria, 1865, and you can tell it's RTD and not Chibnall because the text isn't an obnoxious colour. The Rani appears to a couple, the husband, a seventh son of a seventh son, and the wife giving birth to his, you guessed it, seventh son. So with all the sevens and lucky day, I thought the god of luck was going to crash in here, but she names the child Desiderium, and reveals it has the power to make wishes come true, the baby being the newly born god of wishes. Starting off strong, I like that this Rani gets to be camp as well as domineering and conniving. Sure, the transformations as she deals with the family may be a little much, but she's reveling in her plan's fruition. After that, we jump to the modern day. John and Belinda Smith waking up on the perfect 23rd of May with their little girl Poppy. And I love this whole Steepford thing. Both Vrada and Ncuti add this sort of false happy front that they totally believe in, but is so basic and cookie cutter for a reason. And just to top things off on this mountain of worrying news, Conrad appears on the TV to wish the world a great day.
Happy morning, Conrad.
A very solid start to the episode. Conrad reveals a book he's going to read throughout the episode, and while the staticky edits are a little much sometimes, I love this segmented throughout the episode. And some very nice commentary, that the book looks just like the Harry Potter books. And looking at Conrad's world, I just guess all people who have hands in books like this are hateful pieces of shit. Watch out, asexuals, Conrad's coming after you next. Do you think the Wishworld has a black mold problem? Mr. and Mrs. Smith are happy in domestic bliss, getting ready for the big day tomorrow, May the 24th, and cups keep falling off tables. In fact, I love the cup detail and all the set design imagery like this. I think there was a lot of thought put into the objects, layout, and colours to create this world that makes it really come together. Ruby appears at the door, but because this is an Orwellian world, Belinda and John call the cops on her for doubting the system and asking questions. Now, I do kind of feel like this repeating 73 yards. In fact, we'll get to see some flashbacks to that situation later, and both Carla and Cherry having their timelines changed again feels a little redundant. And I'm not sure why Ruby of all people was spared this reality shift. I do like her here, and her going through this experience, but I just feel the reason she's singled out needed to be more explored. And both her and the characters she involves herself with are pushed to the sideline a bit. It feels really odd. We get a nice little moment when Ruby retreats, showing Mel as their neighbour, with a bin full of broken cups. Love that imagery. And we get a look at the Rani's world. Bone creatures that look awesome roaming around. Wish they did more, but I think they will next episode, but they do look cool here. John goes to work at UNIT, or now the Unified National Insurance Team, and I like the set redo and the character work, and even including building on the whole Red Scare Dobbin system, that feels really effectively fleshed out.
Was that supposed to mean? No. No, I'm just...
You're a man. How can you find another man beautiful?
We get Susan Triad back, which is nice to see, and the Rani flies to base on her hover scooter, looking quite snazzy. Belinda gets her own moment, her mother and other relative coming around, and she starts to realise things are going wrong. And in a moment of doubt, which is their word for questioning literally anything, she just runs into the forest and screams. Is that just the thing that she does? Or is that how Conrad sees women? Not sure, but if that were part of Conrad's world, I would have loved the visual if the camera panned and we saw like 50 other women all along the same riverbank shouting at the air.
Are you shouting at thin air?
Yes.
So we get to see inside the Rani's base, and although I'm not sure why Rassilon Seal is there beyond taunting the Doctor, the whole set looks fabulous. And I love the almost American Horror Story looking clone creatures spread around. The Rani tells Mrs. Flood to get in the kitchen and make Conrad a sandwich. Mrs. Flood obviously pissed, and I love Anita Dobson's acting in this episode. I do wish more was explored between the Ranis, but when Anita wants to be menacing and creepy in this episode, boy does she go for it. Conrad and Mrs. Flood have a nice caring dynamic, him obviously caring for her, and I like this side of him as he constantly tries to keep the world in his perfect image with Desiderium's power. It still fits his character, but shows the more vulnerable side to him, showing a lot better that he is multifaceted, not just a massive bastard. And boy, do I love the music in this episode, from the Rani's theme and Desiderium's as Conrad holds him. The CGI baby making the giggle, terrifying the two of them. The Rani reveals the Vindicator locks into her big clock, which is really cute, and they set a trap on the balcony. The Rani using a sonic syringe, which I love by the way, to set a trap for him, which is great foreshadowing. The Rani reveals they are after the one who is lost, like the one who waits. And as Ruby pokes around, she finds Shirley, another person who sees the world differently as she is disabled. The disabled people and nonconformists and queers not having a place in this perfect society of Conrad's, which is the logical progression of this commentary. I love the cute area Shirley takes Ruby to, a community full of the disabled and queer, and Tharies. And great. Another RTD finale that rips off Big Finish. First he rips off Kill the Doctor in the Age of Sutekh, and now the Purity arc. Shirley's actress having been the Sixth Doctor's companion Hebe in that, and being very similar both in literal story and themes. Ruby wants to get to the bottom of it all and targets Conrad, Shirley going along with her to sneak into the Rani's base, along with another wheelchair user that may be named at a point, but I couldn't remember them giving her a name. I probably need to give the episode another watch through, but if she's going to be with Ruby and Shirley, please give her some more personality and make her memorable. At home, John unwinds, and unexplained, I mind you, the TV deviates from Conrad, showing Susan again for a second, and then Rogue returning. Jonathan Groff obviously recording this on a green screen, but he warns John vaguely about tables, and is cut off before an I love you. I like Rogue's inclusion, but just like Susan in this and the last episode, the foundation for the cameo is just not laid well enough. Why is he warning 15? Does he know that warning 15 will cause the Rani's plan to come to fruition? Is he even real, or is Conrad and the Rani fucking with him? Is he Susan? That would be troubling. And then, of course, there's the fact that neither him or Susan make physical appearances, which also kind of cheapens these cameos with how much they're happening. So cleverly, John figures out that all the mugs dropping is because of the wish reality is unstable, cups falling through tables often. But as he figures this out, thanks to Belinda ratting him out, both of them are arrested and taken to Rani HQ. And as I said before, Anita gets some great time as the villain. Ruby and Shirley manage to get their hands on a working tablet from the old world, and trying to work it, they get to learn where Conrad is, but they don't really do anything else. They're planning useless when the world goes to shit later, so this just feels like a bit of floundering to pad the runtime. I think they should have been given more agency and hope they aren't dropped next episode. And considering a character who is constantly just shoved in the background and not given anything to do, Rose Noble appears next episode, I have a worrying feeling that multiple characters are just going to be shoved into the background, forgotten about, not to actually do anything. Oh, it's becoming Empire of Death. The Doctor and Belinda are all tentative with this gate for some reason, and why are the song contest guards here? This whole minute-long sequence infuriates me, but I do like the Doctor's faith in Belinda. So now the Rani uses her wiles and the surroundings to get the Doctor to remember. Clear exposition, but cleverly it is necessary to her plan and is written engagingly, as she wants him to remember, her plan hinging on him knowing everything. So some people have said she's basically just the Master, but there is a key fundamental difference between the two. The Rani is playful like the Master, sure, she revels in her victory and has little to no morals, but it's her interactions with the Doctor as she taunts him that differ. The Master will be focused on the Doctor within his evil plan, and love that the Doctor gets involved, almost like extreme peacocking. Whereas the Rani either will want nothing to do with the Doctor, or like here and in one of her Big Finish stories, will come up with the plan and only involve the Doctor if she needs to use him. Not to affect him, but to use him as an ingredient to further her agenda. Whereas the Master is straight up infatuated with the Doctor and enjoys the idea of fucking with him. The interaction specifically above the plan itself. The Rani reveals everything is fake, confirms the gods appearing was the Doctor's fault, probably the salt, and waxes poetically about their past. And we get greatly upscale clips of Kato Mara, including from Dimensions in Time, as 15 starts freaking out and remembering. The Rani reveals that the Vindicator is what is allowing her plan to succeed, and with a nice little fourth wall break, she uses the Doctor's mind-shattering, the false reality, to open a gap between realities.
Because this isn't just exposition, Doctor. I need to tell you everything so that your doubt becomes all-consuming.
She shows the city falling in on itself, with CGI that greatly gets across this interesting visual, and a building with the name of the company from The Well being showcased, which is a nice Easter egg. So the Rani reveals that she is looking for the one who is lost in the Underverse, and for a reason that, if judging by the next time trailer will be disclosed next episode, she wants to find Omega. That's right, one of the Time Lord founders among Tecteun and Rassilon. In fact, the one who created the Eye of Harmony, the power that powers TARDISes, trapped in another universe. Revealed with some voice clips from Big Finish, which is crazy. That is officially the first thing taken directly from the audio for the show. You know, apart from RTD recycling their plots. Does that mean characters and companions from the audio will appear? I wish, but probably not. I would kill for a 15 Flippin' Constance episode. The Doctor starts to remember, but it's too late as the cliffhanger is set up. Belinda is seemingly erased from existence, Ruby and Shirley are about to be destroyed in the tears, and the Doctor is sent careening below by the Rani's clever trap from earlier. But does he tease that unlike the rest of the fake marriage, Poppy is actually real? However he means that. And the Rani celebrate as their plan comes to fruition. So that was Wishworld, and yeah, it has a few problems. More underexplored or unexplained things just happening. But the acting was really strong. Developing this new world was done impressively quickly with character moments and set dressing. I loved all of the Rani's dialogue and the music, but once again, I wanted a little more. Much like The Legend of Ruby Sunday, this is a great part 1 to set up the finale, but I just hope the finale will deliver better than Empire of Death, so I'm gonna match Wishworld with the previous part 1 of the finale at a 7.5 out of 10, and hope to the Pantheon we stick the landing next week. Thank you everybody for watching my review of Wishworld. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next review. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.